Welcome to the Mashup.
Tell me whether I'm wrong or right. East or west, up or down, side to side. I sit to stand and fall to fly. Of all of my impulsive plans, pop and lock and salsa dances on demand. I follow leading off the map, stop the chatter, scream happily.
Welcome to the Mashup.
Welcome to the mashup. Welcome to the welcome to the mashup.
Welcome.
Hey everybody. I am so excited to have Carla Treadway on today that we're just going right past the rant and going right into it. Carla, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, I mean, you absolutely made my day when you reached out and said, "Hey, it'd be great if I could get in on some of this mashup stuff." And this is wonderful. I haven't been this excited since the first time I listened to the Crystal Method. Yeah.
Well, I thought we could use some diversity on the show, and we needed to mix in some other genders. I thought it was a good idea.
We're probably going to be eligible for some kind of a grant now, I'm guessing. So for those of, go ahead.
Oh, I heard about the unfortunate situation with Sean and the gopher, and I'm not compromised in that way. So,
well, that's good to hear. It's actually horrible. He was, we were hoping to have him on this week. He had actually been digging an escape tunnel out of his cell, and he had it hidden behind a Caddyshack poster. But they found it, and so he's still stuck there. The saga continues.
Oh, yes. It wasn't the gopher that you wanted to have on the show to hear his side of the story.
Oh, actually, you know what? we probably should. I wonder if we could get an interpreter or something. All right. So for those of you who don't know Carla Treadway, which is, I'm sure, a very small minority of people, but there might be a couple people who don't know about you. What's the elevator pitch?
I'm a professional shit poster on the internet. I have a podcast called The Sovereign CEO, where we talk all things business, politics, and living free.
With a heavy focus on marketing.
That's right. I actually just split up my YouTube channels today. So now we have straight up marketing. Here's how you win. Here's how you make money. And come over here for all the business and politics and cultural news. I had to separate them. But yeah, one is solutions focused and one is really like the why, like we need to know what's going on in the bigger picture to like actually motivate us to do things to get ahead right now.
Absolutely fair. All right. Well, we've got a guest coming on in a few minutes. So when he gets here, we're going to jump to him. But in the meantime, Coots 6.5. So I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but Chris Carbert has been released. So, well, it wasn't until I saw this picture and I found out that he has tattoos, and everybody with tattoos should go straight to jail. But aside from that,
that's how you feel about tattoos.
I don't want them cooking my food. I don't want them in society. Because yeah, it should be pretty difficult to find a line cook who doesn't have a neck tattoo or a sleeve. But
do you have a belly button tattoo? Did you have a bad experience with tattoos at one point and it soured you?
woke up in Vegas with a butterfly just above my ass crack.
Little tribal sun right around that. Yeah.
Oh, so yes, Chris Carbert is out. And that's wonderful news because the justice system in this country is insane. For example, statutory release for Calgary man who killed 5-year-old grandson. This guy was sentenced in 2019 and has now been released for killing his grandson. So he got roughly 6.5 years for killing a child.
Unreal.
Yeah, there's a couple more. Man wanted for attempted murder convicted in 2012 Danzig mass shooting. So the 2012 shooting in Toronto that killed 2 people and injured 23 others, I want to say. This was like the guy who was ringleading it. And he got released. And then, believe it or not, now he is wanted for attempted murder again.
First of all, he's a terrible shot. Lucky for all those people.
Yes. Yes. So that's the one nice thing about a lot of these people is that like, when people worry about like, oh, what happens if any of these crazy right wingers go off and stuff like that, and, maybe it's a little bit fair because we actually practice.
We're capable.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
I just
laugh.
had
Yeah.
Tristan Hopper on the show, and he wrote
Yeah.
Don't Be Canada.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that in Canada, we have no mechanism for keeping really violent offenders in prison. That's why Paul Bernardo got out. And I think a lot of Canadians just assume, because they
No,
think everything
Paul
is good here, that you lock
Bernardo
people
didn't
away.
get out. He just got moved out of maximum security, I think.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah.
you'd
No
think
mechanism for long-term incarceration, no matter what you've done.
the guy who decapitated a dude on a Greyhound bus, he's out. All of these crazy bad people that do these bad things, they all, excuse me, they all get out.
Yeah.
This one is particularly heinous. Non-citizen Johns shouldn't get sentence discounts for their crimes. So what happened here is this guy who was in Canada trying to become a citizen was bored one day hanging out, and he tried to buy a 15-year-old prostitute, and it was a sting operation. He got arrested, and the judge gave him a conditional discharge, which is what he was probably going for anyway, but because if he actually got convicted of the thing that he did, it would affect his application for citizenship. So they said, if we convict this pedophile, he probably won't be able to become a Canadian citizen, and then he'll have to go back to where he came from.
And then he'll never be able to run as a Liberal MP. We can't prevent that.
Yeah. So anyway, we should just give him the Order of Canada, I guess. I got a thing in my throat here.
My personal opinion, if you are trying to come to Canada as a citizen and you commit any crimes, you're out. You're out.
Yeah.
You're gone forever.
That's
You don't
pretty.
get to come in.
That's pretty fair, and especially something like this, like just
But yeah,
as
Here
an
they
in general,
protected
completely
him.
with you.
They protected him and encouraged and tried to expedite the process of getting a pedophile into Canada. That's insane.
I don't even know what to say about it. I don't even know what to say about it. But this is Canada. This is where we're at right now. So anyway, these are the kind of things that people just get off on. And then we've got the guys in Coots, 6.5 years.
Yeah.
All right. So moving forward, it is Airborne Friday. So happy Airborne Friday to everybody who serves right now. If you guys have any community notes, let us know in the comments and we can share them at the end. And if you're enjoying this, like, share, and send Sean a rooster cake with a file in it. Okay, now we got a ton of stuff to get into right now. We're gonna skip past the longest ballot stuff. So for right now, we've got some interesting stuff going on with the Postal Service. So apparently, the latest offer was a 13% raise for the postal workers. And we thought this was all said and done, but apparently it's not. And the union is telling its members to reject a 13% raise because it's not enough.
I love that they think that they can control the climate, but we can't even handle the mail.
That's a really good point.
Maybe we fix this first and then work our way up to some bigger the mail, letting pedophiles in, and then maybe the climate. Let's baby steps.
Yeah, let's before we look too much into the clouds and where they're going and why they're going there, maybe we could just get the mail delivered on time. So I was telling Carla, I was playing slow pitch last night. We're almost into playoffs, and we haven't even gotten our jerseys yet because they got lost in the mail. Like there's just one job. You just have this one thing to do, and it's packages from A to B. And that's
Yeah.
it. And there's not really a lot of sympathy for this. I mean, when you think about it, what do you need to do to be somebody who, like, what qualifications do you need to work at Canada Post?
I
You
mean,
have
just yesterday, I
Mhm.
had somebody else's mail in my inbox. So it's your only job to put the right mail into the PO box,
Mhm.
and that was screwed up. How do you screw that up?
on an infinite timeline, you're gonna have that from time to time. Right? With PO boxes, with whatever. I've gotten Amazon deliveries for my neighbor. It's gonna happen. But the thing about it is that you basically just need a couple arms or even just one arm and a heartbeat. And can you drive a bus? Can you drive one of their vans? Can you drive one of their vans? And can you literally grab the mail and put it into either the post office box or into their actual mailbox? The bar for this is very low. And so in terms of what you need to be able to do the job well, I would
Yeah.
say that the pay far exceeds the requirements of the job, even now. And they're saying a 13% raise isn't enough.
I don't even think you need to drive. Most of them still walk, don't they? You just have that's the pre-qualifying question. Can you walk?
Well, you don't even I'm sure there's probably some people who have roots that they get around in a wheelchair. I'm sure that it's exactly the kind of thing that I would expect Canada Post to do. But it is what it is. And then also another thing, we've got the bike lanes in Nova Scotia are blowing up. I don't know if you've seen this or heard about this,
Uh,
but it's gotten so bad that the premier is threatening to step in and shut the whole thing down. And Canadian Taxpayers Federation is speaking out about it. Devin Drover wrote an article about this where he said that Halifax promised to build a 53-kilometer bike lane network by 2022 for $25 million in 2017. 7 years later, only about 60% of it's built, and the cost has ballooned to $93 million. And so the Canadian Taxpayers Federation is rightly upset about this. The premier is saying that he's going to jump in and shut the whole thing down if this doesn't get straightened out. But this is something that is over 100% overrun in terms of the timeline, and it's only quadrupled its original estimate. As far as Canadian infrastructure projects go, this is basically the government equivalent of on time and on budget. I don't know what
they
everybody's getting so upset about. A government project that only quadruples the cost estimate? That's a win.
they probably should have hired more consultants.
Yep.
That's the problem.
Well, anyway, so that's going on. But here's the thing: is as far as I'm concerned, also, by the way, on a serious take on this, because Alberta is kind of dealing with the same thing in Calgary with Jody Gondek fighting with Danielle Smith. I always want the smaller government to have precedent. So no matter how stupid the idea, no matter how stupid the decision or the execution or whatever else, if a city wants to do something that's different than what the province or the country does, you defer to the smaller government.
Yeah.
All the way down to the individual.
Yeah.
All right. So now we've got, there's a little bit about separation in here. So I saw this on Twitter and I just need to talk about it. I just want to point this out. Somebody says, does anybody have a reason why Alberta should stay in Canada besides nostalgia? And some guy with flags in his bio, believe it or not, says, because if you separate, the rest of Canada will turn you traitors so indignantly that you will wish you had never thought of it. You will lose your passport, citizenship, EI contributions, etc. We will make sure you can't get your CPC or CPP. And then he just goes on to just threaten everybody who has anything to say about it. Anybody who has a retort, he's just like, we will fucking end you. We will destroy you. Basically like the Tom Cruise Tropic Thunder speech, where he's like, you are going to have to get a UN declaration because I will go scorched earth on you motherfuckers. That's basically what this guy is saying about, why should Alberta stay in Canada? Well, apparently because of the stick.
I just think it's wild that he thinks that that's a threat or a leverage point that they'll take away your Canada pension plan. Like, let's be real. If things keep going the way that they're going, there's not going to be any CPP for anyone.
Yep. Yeah, well, I mean, it literally is a pyramid scheme. Like when you
Yes.
look at the way it's set up, the current contributions go towards the outgoing money. You literally have the people who were in it before getting paid by the people who are getting into it now.
Yes.
And it goes like this. It's multi-level marketing is what it is.
That's right.
Now, it doesn't have as many levels as, say, Amway or something like that, but it's a shallow pyramid, but it's literally a pyramid. And so,
It's
look,
such a wild idea. Like if people took the money that they invested in CPP and put it in literally anything else,
mhm,
they would have way more money.
yes, the MREs, like if you looked at the equivalent MREs to any other fund for what we pay to get the CPP managed, it's insane. And it's funny, there was a town hall, I didn't keep a clip of it, but there was a town hall, I want to say in Pinoca the other day, and somebody was saying, if we separate and do our own, we're going to have to do all of the costs. They're like, yes, but they're also going to be a lot fucking less because we're not doing, it was like $100 million revamp of the CPP building last year. We covered it on the Mashup. They're spending like $100 million on new chairs and flooring and whatever else. That's a little much, considering the fact that you could literally couch potato this. And you could literally pay one guy, if he's really good, I don't know, 250, 300 grand a year. And he could run it from home.
Mhm.
And that's all you would need to run a pension plan. The fact that we pay hundreds of millions of dollars every year for that same thing. You've got entire, like when Stephen Harper's stepping in and doing some changes, or oh shoot, that's a different fund. It's the Alberta fund. But Stephen Harper's jumping in and doing a bunch of changes, and they fired something like 20 people whose job had literally nothing to do with managing it.
I want to see these chairs, these $100 million chairs that they're
Well,
putting.
it's not for one chair. There's probably like 5 of them. All right. But anyway, let's get into the rapid fire. So this guy,
Ooh, this is a bad one.
this is so we've been covering this guy because he sucks and he's dumb. This is the same guy who recused himself for potential conflicts of interest. He's the Minister of Public Safety, and he had to recuse himself of some decisions being made about Sri Lankan terrorist groups. They didn't elaborate. And again, like, it's great that we've actually got some government people who are taking conflicts of interest seriously. But now the follow-up question is why? Why did you have to recuse yourself? And it turns out that he was actually trying to get citizenship. He was trying to help Sri Lankan terrorists get Canadian citizenship by writing them letters of endorsement as a member of parliament in 2023 and 2016. So not just once, not just one time, but multiple instances spanning the better part of a decade. This guy is using the member of parliament letterhead to endorse the applications for citizenship of literal fucking terrorists in this country.
Is he Sri Lankan?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Honest mistake.
So anyway, Sean and I have been speculating before he went to jail about how long it's going to be before he gets cycled out. And there's been rumors that there's going to be a fall cabinet shuffle. My money's on him being out before Parliament resumes after the summer. He's going to have his best summer ever, and then it's going to be time for him to go.
Now, Mark Carney was also grilled about this. Do you
Mhm.
still have confidence in this minister? And he said, yeah, he filled me in.
That's all I
Filled me in on
ask.
the
Is just
situation.
just keep me
Transparency.
apprised. Keep me apprised of your attempts to give terrorist citizenship. I just want to be in the know.
I can't not see Mr. Burns now when I see Mark Carney. Just,
Excellent.
he kept me informed.
Excellent, Gerald Butts. Yeah. Did you see Jordan Peterson's house is for sale?
No.
Okay, so Jordan Peterson is selling his Toronto house, and him and his wife are, because they're basically never there anymore because they're in the US all the time. But look at this. This is just, apparently it's just an unassuming house from the exterior. And then the guy lives like a rap god. Like, look at this is like his bedroom.
Whoa.
And this is just some random 100-year-old. This is a 100-year-old house.
Huh.
And we look at it from the outside, you can't tell anything. And then you open it up and it looks like this.
There's something weird about knowing where Jordan Peterson gets busy, but that's a cool house.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Very cool house. And so if you have a couple million spare dollars and you want to invest it while the market is right on the verge of tanking, you can go ahead and buy this for a couple million. He says that it's a great deal though, because there's so many intangibles in there that aren't reflected in the price.
Do you have a price on that? I mean, a teardown in Toronto is $2 million.
Not anymore. The market has taken a nosedive lately. This is 2.268 is the asking price.
Oh, that's pretty reasonable. Here we
Yeah.
go.
I mean, it's a bargain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Mark Carney's conflict of interest falsehoods. So it just recently came out. You were talking about this the other day, but he's got 103 potential conflicts of interest logged with the ethics commissioner. And this came out after, in the lead up to the election, he said that all he owned was, what did he say? Cash and personal real estate. And then turns out that was a fucking lie. And that he is registered with literally 103 different potential conflicts of interest regarding his business holdings.
He flat out lied during the election. And I don't know if liberals just aren't privy to that information or they actually don't care. I think it's that they actually don't care. But he flat out said, look inside yourself, Rosemary. What possible conflicts of interest could I have? Like he ran on lies.
Well, I think this is great because they all do. They all do. And they all have a shit ton of conflicts of interest, because it's not even just, these are just the tangible ones. When you look at, we were talking about the dairy cartel before this and how that bill passed unanimously, including the Conservatives. You could make a fairly reasoned argument that the dairy cartel could be listed as a potential conflict of interest because if you vote against them, they will lobby to end your political career. And that is why your MPs in Western Canada voted for fucking supply management literally a few weeks ago. And so they've got so many vested interests. The NDP, all of their money comes from unions. So everything they do is to make government bigger and have more union jobs, because that is their conflict of interest. And so, talking openly about the fact that our members of parliament have vested interests in specific outcomes, I think this is good. We need to talk about this more, but we need to expand the scope of it to their individual and collective interests. Why do we keep voting for things in fucking Quebec? Why do we keep voting for things that help out fucking Quebec when our members of parliament are paid to represent the interests of other places.
Well, that's right. Well, and it's not even that these conflicts of interest benefit himself. Obviously, he's just prime minister to make himself rich. Who else is he making rich? So when you look at his portfolio,
Mhm.
99.5% of his investments are in the US or abroad. So only 0.5% of
Mhm.
his investments are even in Canada. So all the contracts and all the things that he's going to get rich, and he's taking all the money out of Canada at the same time. Meanwhile, he ran a whole campaign on I'm Canadian, look at me and Mike Myers, and
Mhm.
I'm a patriot. If you were a patriot, you'd be invested in Canada.
Well, I mean, you could still be. Here's the thing: is Canada has been bad for investments for about a decade.
Mhm.
I don't really know anybody who has anything other than like specific businesses. That like if somebody's an entrepreneur, obviously they're a owner of a business in Canada, and maybe a few things here and there, but everybody's portfolios is largely international at this point because
Mhm.
Canada is such a bad investment.
It's
And
just so
so
funny that they voted for him because he was the banker, he was the
Mhm.
businessman, he was a good businessman, and for some reason, they thought that that would help them. You're like, "No, no, no, you're right, he is a good businessman. That's
that's
why
why
he's
he only
taking all
has
his money out of
0.5%.
Canada."
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good business decision,
yeah,
easily,
yeah.
right? Totally with you, 100%. And speaking of other great things Mark Carney is doing, I I don't think I'm gonna become a fan of this guy, but he is doing things that I like.
I'll praise
And
that.
so
Yeah.
all right. Uh, suggest your own spending cuts. Carney government tells CBC, Via Rail, and other crown corporations. He's telling basically all of the crown corporations to find 15% savings.
Mm.
Oh, sorry, with the exception of things like the military, RCMP, CBSA. Uh, but other than that, basically everybody needs to start looking under the couch cushions and seeing what they spend money on that doesn't actually affect their outcomes.
You think they're gonna do that? I feel like they're gonna come back saying, "You know what? We did the report. Turns out we all deserve bonuses."
Yeah. Oh, that's totally you're definitely gonna have some that just say, "We take all of this very seriously, and that's why we've already been running as lean as we possibly can. In fact, we need another $200 million."
Yes.
But that's the way the culture has been since long before the liberals took over, and so it's not going to be changing anytime soon. But I hope it's naive, but I think it would be great if something good came out of that. And it's
Yeah.
been funny to see the reactions of the typical idiot leftists. You know, operational cuts to Via Rail means service cuts for Canadians. Via was already slashed in the 80s, 90s, and in 2012. You cannot cut Via Rail any deeper. I don't even know where Via Rail exists.
Yeah.
Like, is it just an Ontario thing?
I have no idea. None.
I don't know. Does it? I don't know. I think it might run the odd one on the CN or the CP line out here, but I couldn't even tell you that for sure.
This guy
An
must work
essential,
for the
yeah,
railroad.
yeah, part of big railroad. An essential public service like Via Rail is being subject to Carney's cuts. I have a feeling we're going to see many public sector workers losing their jobs in the coming months. Devastating. Well, okay, first off, if there's a whole bunch of public sector workers losing their jobs, devastating is the exact opposite of how I feel about that. Um, but if it's an essential public service, why is it only essential for certain areas?
Mhm.
If it's
My
if it's essential, like if it's a human right, why don't I know the first damn thing about it?
my friend is visiting here right now, and she
Yeah.
was talking about how she went away on vacation to the lake, and her coworkers missed her so much. By the time she came home, they had built her this entire diorama of, like, the cabin she was in and the boats they were driving. They did it all of this at work, and I asked her, I'm like, "Do you work for the government?" She's like, "Yeah." like a
Yeah, that would explain it. If you like, how do you explain that? Like, do you go to Michael's and expense a glue gun?
Mhm.
And like, where do you write that off? Oh, it's an essential, business supply. Oh, we
Team
need
building.
like styrofoam balls and
Mhm.
well, we needed a shoebox, so we had to go buy the shoes to get the shoebox. I'm sure that's exactly how it went. Oh. Okay, here's another one. Montreal's Trudeau Airport to undergo $10 billion renovation over next decade. They're spending $10 billion to revamp the Montreal airport, the Pierre Elliott Trudeau Airport.
What's wrong with it? Is it falling apart? What's going on?
It's actually not that bad. I've flown out of it a bunch.
Mhm.
Well, in and out of it a bunch. It's, I don't know. It's just a regular ass airport. They named it after Pierre Elliott Trudeau, which I think is wonderful.
Mhm.
Airports are the most depressing pieces of land in the world. Like it's basically like second only to Auschwitz. And so the more airports we name after shitty politicians, the better.
I'll be honest, like that is a ridiculous amount of money, but at least it's not going overseas to gendered Peruvian rock music or the wild
Mhm.
stuff that we see. At least this is an airport, something practical for once.
Well, yes, but at the same time, why does the government need to be involved in it? Like the airport's its own
Mm.
entity, and also $10 billion for construction. I feel like if I was to talk to Vesper about this, he would say that probably half of that money is going to mobs in the construction mafia,
Mm.
which apparently fucking Quebec is absolutely rife with.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, it'd be interesting if they actually gave that work, if they put it out there for people to bid on that job, and if you just had regular old construction companies bidding on that job, what number they would
Mhm.
come back with.
Well, in Canada, it would probably still be um, greatly overinflated anyway,
Mhm.
because they kind of just know that they've got the gig. Like
Mm.
even when Calgary was redoing that giant water line that ruptured last summer, if you went and looked over there, you would see guys whose job apparently it was to just make sure that the racks of and pallets of equipment didn't just float and levitate away. It was like their job was to smoke cigarettes on that pallet. We are in a crisis. Water rationing. Everybody's freaking out. Dogs marrying cats. And that guy, his job is to smoke cigarettes on a pallet.
Well, you
So,
supervise it.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
And it's stressful
Absolutely.
when you're supervising, so you need to smoke.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. So I don't know if you heard about the hijacking that happened at the Vancouver airport,
Mhm.
but
It
yeah.
for climate change. Yes.
Was that what it was for?
Yeah.
Was it a climate change protester?
It was let me see if I can pull it up. He thought it was his life's mission to
Mhm.
come and hijack this thing, and it had to do with climate change. I can pull it up here.
Oh,
He was
wow.
he was saving everybody by
He was
putting
saving the
that out.
environment by flying a plane, and not
Mhm.
even a large plane that carries hundreds of people at one time, but a small plane which has a much larger individual carbon footprint. Going to save the planet by burning hundreds of gallons of jet fuel.
He was a messenger of Allah sent to save humanity from climate change. Humans will go extinct within the first few years, he warned. Good job,
There's six
news. You
different
see what you've done
directions
to
I could
people?
there's 6 different directions I could go with that, and I'm going to take the high road. It's also worth noting that U.S. fighter jets were the ones who actually got there to save the day, while the Canadian Air Force was slow in terms of deploying theirs and showed up after everything had already been resolved. So, elbows up, guys. You got your elbows up, but you still can't fly. All right, here's another one here. We've got Brampton man 29 charged after mayor allegedly threatened with death. So this guy, whose name is Kenwariat Singh Manoria, was charged in Peel for threatening Patrick Brown. And there was no specifics. I don't know if he did it in Facebook posts or what the deal was, but apparently this guy is so mad at Patrick Brown that he threatened to kill him. So the brown on brown crime in Ontario is getting out of hand.
I think you nailed that name, though.
Well, I was thinking about this because whenever people in the news are always talking about somebody French, they always make sure they say it in a French way. And if they're Hispanic, they say it in a Hispanic way. And so that's obviously, if they're doing it, it's obviously correct. And if they're doing it for one or two nationalities, they presumably need to be doing it for all of them.
Mhm.
And so I've just taken it as Sean's usually the one who reads the names off. And I love how he fucks it up all the time. But whenever I get a chance to name any of the names, I always try and throw in a roughly authentic accent based on their presumed nationality.
I love how Sean eventually hit that point where he's like, I'm not editing anymore. I just can't say these words.
Yep. From Blacklocks, 120,641 mail-in ballots for the April federal election were never counted, according to Elections Canada.
Wait a minute. Didn't they flip a riding with one vote?
With one vote. And that was on Elections Canada sent them the return envelope with the wrong postal code. And so that person whose vote never counted because it got returned to them said, hey, here, I have evidence that I sent this through Canada Post on time, according to everything Canada Post and Elections Canada needed. This vote needs to get counted. And Elections Canada said, despite your incontrovertible evidence, we will ignore that and the half dozen other people who said the same thing in that riding.
I wonder if my vote counted. When I went to vote at this election, they had my address wrong. It's not an address that I've ever lived at. I thought that was really, really weird. They kind of talked amongst themselves and then decided, I guess we'll just let her vote. And I was wondering how many people had that exact same scenario and whether or not it discounted their votes. I have no idea.
Did you look up that address?
No.
Did you look to see where it was or anything like that?
No.
Oh, maybe it's the prison we're all going to get sent to in a couple years.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's supposed to be her address for the next election.
Yeah.
So, sorry, guys, we kind of just jumped the gun a little bit.
Oh, it's a detainment center. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yes. Now, you got me to find this right before we went live, and so I don't subscribe to Juno News, although you guys actually should because it's pretty good. But Doug Ford urges federal conservatives to be more liberal. Ontario Premier Doug Ford is calling on the federal conservatives to avoid what he calls political extremes and embrace middle-of-the-road approach that blends progressive social values.
There is nothing extreme about the Conservative Party. The Conservative Party is already pretty liberal. I had someone from the States working for me on my team, and she was a liberal, and I interviewed her, and I said, well, I don't know if you're going to like working for me. It's really political over here, and I'm a conservative. But the conservatives are not like Republicans. Conservatives here are socially liberal. Doug Ford takes it a whole other few steps to
Oh,
the
yeah.
left because he actually just is a liberal. The only conservative thing he's ever said was a few weeks ago where someone tried to steal his car, and then all of a sudden
he's pro concealed carry.
yeah.
And he wants castle laws and stand your ground laws. And you're like, well, I mean, I guess maybe that's what it takes. The only way that we're actually going to find any meaningful change in this country is if we all go stealing politicians' cars.
And we know what their extreme views mean now, right? It means that you believe in two genders, traditional values, hard work.
The size of the government's too large.
Yeah, extreme budgeting.
Yeah. What if we just didn't spend all of the money and then all of our kids' money and then all the grandkids' money?
Mhm.
Well, there's no room for that kind of extremism here.
Maybe we don't put porn in elementary schools either, so they don't see that. But I am an extremist.
Like, you're almost too extreme for this show right now. If
Mhm.
you're going to keep suggesting these common sense things like that, I may have to just remove you preemptorily. Doug Ford needs to just rebrand. The thing that irritates me is that there's so many Canadians that don't ever bother looking into this. Like, if you looked at Doug Ford and his policies and his positions and the things he says, accepting the shooting people who steal your car, but everything else other than that, if you took away the party label and you just said, okay, what does this guy do? What does he represent? And then you had to pick a lane for him, it would be somewhere probably between Liberal and NDP.
Mhm.
And the fact that he gets to call himself the Conservative Party and that people just look and they say, okay, well, there's the conservative, there's the one with the conservative name. We're good to go.
This is what I've learned about politics that I don't think I didn't know. I'm sure most people don't. A lot of people run for positions available without even being that, like having those values, having that political stance.
Oh, absolutely. That was a big thing in Alberta for a long time. When the Conservative Party had been in charge for 40 years, you had people like Alison Redford and Thomas Lukaszuk, who literally nothing conservative about them.
Mhm.
But if you wanted a job in politics in Alberta, you had to join the Conservative Party.
Mhm.
And so they did. And then they became premier and deputy premier and spent a ton of money on stupid things and very greasy things, like tens of thousands of dollars in cell phone bills for vacations and the whole Sky Palace thing. So yeah, there's a very notable issue with that where people aren't remotely conservative, but if they want the job, they'll say that they are.
Well, I'm
It is
glad
very
Doug is at
frustrating.
least he's outing himself at least publicly. So that's nice.
Yes, but there hasn't been nearly enough pushback on him because of it. People like us are saying it, but
Mhm.
as much as it irks me to admit, the legacy media needs to actually have a few honest conversations about this.
We could do a whole show on Doug. He's had some great sound bites lately. When he was being interviewed about the beach, y'all just got to stop pooping on the beach.
He said that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. We were talking about that new, like, they basically built a Roomba for the beach
Ugh. Ugh.
and to try and clean it up. And the whole article, again, I think it was CTV. You go through the whole article and you're like, it doesn't mention feces. It doesn't mention poop. It doesn't say shit. None of it is in there. And so, like, does it pick it up? Does it just kind of smear it along the beach as it goes? How is this thing going to handle human defecation? And it was the obvious question and it never got asked. But it is what it is. So this is I don't know, basically my favorite part of the show for the most part. Canada's first-time owners are older than ever. So this is an article about a 40-year-old virgin home buyer. I think it's weird that they assume they're virgins, but More Canadians are buying their first homes in their 40s and beyond, and they're okay with that. This is literally the you will own nothing and you will be happy playing out. Because it's not as though this is this is literally gaslighting. And how much money do these people get to say things like this? Because there's no honest reporting here. Like, oh, everybody's just happy about the fact that they can't even buy a fucking house in this country. Come on. Let's be honest.
Well, they're trying to normalize the lowering of standards for
Yes,
everyone.
that's exactly it.
Look how cool it is to live in a sea can. These tiny houses are so cool. You don't want to own a house. You got property taxes. You got to mow the lawn. That's crazy.
7 great recipes for eating grass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, actually, speaking of mowing the lawns, I got a new mower this year. And when you look at it was on a clearance because Canadian Tire is, for the most part, moving away from large lawnmowers to like these little 14-inchers and ones that are basically just weed whackers with wheels. Because people's lawns are so small that it doesn't even make sense to have a regular ass full-size lawnmower anymore. Because why would you have a regular lawnmower that you run for like 10 seconds?
I heard you were a lawn man.
Oh, nice. My reputation exceeds me. But yeah, like there's one that's just a weed whacker with wheels.
Yeah.
And you just it's crazy to see overseas manufacturing representing the fact that everybody's expectations for home ownership are diminishing to the point of silliness in this country.
Well, it makes sense for all these places just to adapt with the times. I've noticed at the gym too, because of all the liberal men that go there, they've actually just removed the weights. And there's lots of those like stretchy bands, and there's little corners where you can go and like take a time out because you're feeling.
Are you being
small.
serious?
No.
Oh, okay. That's the problem with this, is that like if you say something like that and I'm like, it sounds like a little bit much, but at the same time,
Yeah.
you look at the
I mean, you don't want to be too muscular. It's white supremacy. So
it is actually. We were talking about this a while back, where personal fitness is a leading indicator of extremist views.
makes
But then on the
sense.
other hand, you got like Viking Gym in Lloyd, which has absolutely just exploded in popularity because it's owned by this absolute giant beast of a man who's just like, we want you to be strong and healthy and huge. Ugh. Tanner Applegate, the guy's just wonderful. And there's, you've got Planet Fitness, which is turning everything purple and having, I don't know, weird transgender change room stuff going on. And it's creating this hole in the market, this blue ocean right in the middle, where people are like, you know what? We could just have a regular ass gym where people want to go and work out and get results. And then it happens. Yeah. Now this is big news. How lucky am I? Canadian singer Jan Arden shares news about girlfriend. This is the fucking news.
Is that an undercut?
It looks like it. A 60-something-year-old one-hit wonder who fairly recently told a bunch of people to go fuck their eye sockets. The fact that she has a girlfriend is news in CTV.
Has she always been a lesbian? Is this new?
Well, she said, where the heck is it? There was I think it was right near the bottom. She told the Canadian press that her romantic interests are person-specific and preferred to keep her relationships private, which is an interesting thing to do considering the fact that there's a whole fucking news article about the fact that she's in a relationship. So Anyway, if you
Wow.
go all the way to the bottom, Arden released her 16th studio album of 1990s pop covers called Mixtape earlier this year, which, by the way, when we talk about how much the media sucks, I'm now that I'm reading this out loud. Arden released her 16th studio album of 1990 pop covers called Mixtape earlier this year. According to the way this is written, Jan Arden has 16 albums of 1990s pop covers. Does nobody edit this shit? CTV, for the love of God, figure your life out. I did not know that Jan Arden has 16 cover albums of 1990s pop. You suck at this. You're the worst. But apparently she's got a CTV sitcom called Jan now. So that's why it's in here, I'm sure. It's just trying to drum up a little bit of awareness of the fact that she still exists and that she's got a show with CTV. So congratulations, Carla. You bought partially Jan Arden's new sitcom.
I would rather put Tiger Balm in my eyeballs and rake them with a fork than watch that show.
I kind of want to watch it. I kind of want to watch it just out of morbid curiosity. But the thing about it is that I'm not going to be able to do anything with it. Like if I was to take a clip of that show and show it on here and how hilariously bad I'm sure it is, it would just come across as punching down.
No, I think you could do what Kid Rock did with Bud Light. Remember when he filmed himself just shooting a case of Bud Light when it had Dylan Mulvaney on it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think just bring your TV to the backyard, put the Jan show on, and just blast away.
I like my TV. I think that's not really doing it.
Oh, well, we'll get you an old iPad or something. You can play it.
Yeah. Or just be like, this is the USB thumb drive that this show is on, and I'm gonna set it here, take 200 steps that way, and I'll get it in the second shot. That would be all right, I guess. So did you hear that Britain is lowering its voting age from 18 to 16?
Oh, terrible idea. Which I don't know. It for me, it just shows how incompetent they are. That they're like, okay, the adults aren't voting for us anymore. The kids aren't smart enough yet. Let's get the kids
That's
voting.
exactly it. If any kids are watching this is a moment of self-awareness. You probably have moments in your life where you're like, oh, I used to be such an idiot. And spoiler alert, those moments will never stop. The twos of 10 years ago was an absolute idiot. And he thought that the twos of 10 years before that was an absolute idiot. And he thought the twos of 10 years before that was an absolute idiot. And so when you take that and run it backwards, if you get to the point where they say, we want 16-year-olds to vote, they don't want to strengthen democracy. They want you voting because you're dumb. I hate to say it, but it's true. And 10 years from now, you're going to think, wow, I was so dumb at that point in my life. And that's totally fair. There's nothing wrong with that. But realize that they're trying to take advantage of your idiocy.
Yes. I don't think most adults should be allowed to vote. I think there should be a test that you have to pass. You have to understand like the different policies that are in play. You have to understand the consequences. We have a bunch of people like that voted in the last election that didn't vote conservative because they think that conservatives are going to take away or abortion or they hate gay people, like just ridiculous things. So yeah, I think you need a test in order to even vote in the first place.
Absolutely need a test. But it's got to be stuff like that. And then I think we need to throw in something like this too. Like, let's just make it should be next to impossible to vote. Voting should be so difficult in this country
Mhm.
that it basically just gets determined by a handful of people. I don't think I'm old enough to vote because I guarantee you 10 years from now, I'm going to be like, man, that guy was such a retard. So, anyway, I think it sucks that it's happening, but it's great that for once, the stupidest thing that politicians are doing in this world is not happening to Canada right now.
Yes.
Like, it's refreshing. It should almost be the happy news that there is a cautionary tale in world events that is not taking place within our borders.
The UK is pretty bad. I'm working with someone from the UK right now, and he
Yeah.
was saying the UK looks at Canada and says, "Oh, at least we're not Canada." And I'm like, "Really? I think Canada also, like those of us that are awake, look at the UK as like a crystal ball too. You guys got some bad stuff going on over there. Maybe
It's
we're the
kind of
same."
looking in a mirror. It's kind of like, okay, well,
Mhm.
you know what? We're not doing that super retarded thing, but we are doing this super retarded thing.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I guess we complement each other quite nicely.
Yeah.
Now, here's a public service announcement from RCMP Alberta. RCMP and High River are seeking assistance to ID suspect in theft of pride flag on July 13th, 2025, around 11 p.m. So if you or anybody you know has any information regarding the theft of this pride flag, please contact the High River RCMP with any information. Now, I think it's really crazy though that that somebody is upset about this, presumably, because I mean the whole point of this whole gay pride thing is that you want it everywhere, and so if somebody steals your flag, you're like, okay, well now that person has a gay pride flag. I think that's great. I'm gonna go get another one, and then if that gets stolen, I'll get another one, and then there's gonna be two more gay pride flags out there. That's just my take on it, though. Sad news, though. Girls softball was an inclusive sport in Alberta. For this team, a new law could end that. Young athletes starting to feel the effects of Alberta's transgender ban in women's sports effective September 1st. It's gut-wrenching. It's sad how these star athletes who, by the way, in softball, have you noticed that every single transgender softball player always ends up being the pitcher? They're never the back catcher. They never play right field. The male athletes who invade on these women's sports are always one of the key positions.
How come it's never women trying to sneak into men's sports? Never.
Well, I think, which is crazy because, I mean, you guys are pretty smart, or at least from what I've seen. And I get the fact that in a lot of sports, height is a factor. Physical strength, which I think it's fair to say that men on average are stronger than women on average. But take the sport of curling. The two major things you do in that are sweeping and yelling. Women could absolutely dominate the world stage in curling, and they're just leaving it on the table.
Oh, you were waiting for that one.
So I'm glad we're doing this remotely so you couldn't punch me in the face. This is the literal headline. This isn't the two's headline. This is literally the headline that I'm reading. Woman attacked driver that killed chicken that was crossing the road per police. So she had stopped because the joke was happening. The chicken was crossing the road.
Yeah.
And presumably she stopped because she wanted to know why. And this driver behind her got all mad and then sped around her, ran over the chicken and killed it. And then this woman was upset about that because the question was still unanswered, presumably. And so she chased the guy down, boxed him in, got out, tried to open the door, couldn't, and then maced him inside the car. and now she has been arrested for it.
I think that's a fair reaction. I love my chickens. If somebody just mowed one over, I'd probably mace them in the face too.
Well, I mean, it's obviously more when it's your chicken, it's a little bit different.
Yeah. I mean, we don't
but
know the relationship with the chicken in this
yeah,
story.
maybe there was a prior history there.
hmm
But I mean, like anytime there's a gopher on the road, I will try and drive that motherfucker over every single time. And there's lots of people out here that do it. They're a menace.
Well,
They're
they're probably just running away from Sean.
that's totally fair. That's totally fair. He's basically just pushing Bush towards the highway. Oh, if he ever gets out of jail, he's going to be so mad. Harry Potter star Emma Watson banned from driving for 6 months after speeding offense. Yeah. So, I mean, she could have just used the broom, but the other crazy thing about it is that she was doing 38 miles per hour in a 30 mile per hour zone.
What?
And this was a mail-in ticket. This is a photo radar ticket. This wasn't she got pulled over. It was photo radar of her doing 12 kilometers over the speed limit, and she got her license suspended.
For 6 months. That's insane. I speed all the time.
Now,
Hmm.
it wasn't her first offense. So there's that. But 12 over, and she can't drive for 6 months. Now, luckily, she's got all that Voldemort money, so she could probably just hire a driver. But
Yeah.
6 months suspension. Now we're going back to the Globe and Mail.
Ooh, this is a bad one.
Oh, I think this is wonderful. This is great. Let's get everything out in the open. Here's the article for those of you listening. Let's free ourselves. This is the actual headline. Let's free ourselves of the U.S. and forge closer ties with China. This article
Let's not.
presumably was leaked from a lab. So this is actually the Globe and Mail. And there was some other people who noticed that it's kind of been an ongoing thing with the Globe and Mail. This makes the fourth positive China story in the Globe and Mail in the last 24 hours. Here's this article. China sees slight uptick in global popularity while views of the U.S. sour out, survey finds. And then Crumb's Body, who come on the show already, you comedic genius asshole. Here's some Globe and Mail headlines. This is from March. Canada should mend ties with China to build a new world trade order. We have to do business with China. Get over it. Boo-hoo, get over it. Perhaps more trade with China is not a bad idea after all. China has an opportunity to reset our relationship with Canada has an opportunity to reset our relationship with China and, in a rare twist, on our terms. Let's free ourselves. There's that one. While Trump spurns Canada, China opens the door.
Kind of. Trump gave us 35% tariffs and China had 100%.
So marginally better.
The idea that like we are not a sovereign nation and the thing that we gotta get over is we're gonna be under the boot of someone. We're gonna be under the boot of the US or China. And obviously you don't want to be under China's boot. And that's because
Nope.
we mismanaged the country for the last decade or more.
I want some reparations from China, by the way. Now, you guys, maybe it was the bat soup. Maybe it was the bat soup. Or maybe it was the Wuhan lab right next to it. But China released a virus that caused every government in the world except Sweden to lose its goddamn mind for like 4 years. And I have personally suffered economic hardship as a result of it. I don't want to talk about improving our relationship with China until I get some of those Xi Jinping bucks.
Do you know that since the event, they have done nothing to improve security at these bio labs? They haven't changed a thing. And I think
I
they've
would
added
absolutely
more.
believe that. I would absolutely believe that. It's a pretty rare thing to see anybody in any government organization take any ownership of any mistakes at all ever. I
Mhm.
mean, we just need to look inside ourselves, right? Okay. This is kind of sad, especially if you like burritos. Teenage cleaner fatally sucked into meat grinder at California factory for popular frozen burrito brand. The janitor was walking by or cleaning this machine or whatever. It came on, sucked him in, and put him in a bunch of tortillas. Not literally the last part, but it sucked him in and killed him. Like it just went straight wood chipper on the guy. Lockout, tag out, guys. Lockout, tag out.
That
But
is the
how the
worst
hell
way
is
to die. That's got to be the worst way to die.
one of the worst ways to die? I imagine deciding to hang myself in my jail cell while the cameras are down and the guards are asleep would also be a bad way to die.
Mhm.
But the other thing about it is that I didn't even realize this, but there's been a few of these sort of things happening lately. A similar tragedy in 2019. A factory worker in Pennsylvania died after she was either dragged into or fell into a meat grinder. I'm not an expert on factory burrito production, but I feel like as far as the design goes, a walk-in meat grinder probably has some inherent flaws in the setup.
Mhm.
You shouldn't make a meat grinder that you can personally walk into. I get the fact that it would make some extra steps if now you've got to cut the meat into smaller pieces. But if these are just gas station burritos, it's not like they're not using a whole chuck. They're using offcuts and stuff like that. They're all tiny pieces anyway. You
Mhm.
don't need something big enough that you can get pulled into until you are literally chewed up.
Maybe this is in response to all those cricket factories getting closed down. We need a new source of environmentally friendly meat. Sorry, Sarah, we're just going to give you a little push here.
Yeah.
Too many people need
Oh,
some new meat.
yeah. I get the fact that you guys don't like crickets, and you made that abundantly clear by not buying any of them. But the thing about it is that a cricket factory has fewer people sucked into the meat grinder than this thing.
I mean, it solves two problems for globalists. There's too many people, and
Yeah.
we need new sources of meat. I mean,
Like, did Jeffrey Dahmer design this meat grinder?
mhm.
Now, this is the news we're all here for. This is from CBC. And I want to be very clear about this. This is, as much as I hate the CBC, this is the kind of hitting journalism. I love this article. I think it's great. And I would love to see more things like this, in all seriousness. Chimps are sticking grass and sticks in their butts, seemingly as a fashion trend. And you might think there's just a quick little blurb about this. No. This is an in-depth article going into the history of it, comparing it to orcas who put salmon on their head as hats. This article completely unironically goes into the depths and minutia of chimpanzee fashion trends and how they'll put sticks and grass in their ears and even in their buttholes. They
I know what
figure,
they're doing here.
what are
I
they
know what
doing?
they're doing. They're covering up for some of the footage that we saw on the streets of Toronto during Gay Pride Parade. Now they're just trying to say it's natural, it's biological, it's evolutionary. It's a fashion trend.
Were people putting grass inside their butts at the Gay Pride Parade?
There were just wild naked things happening
Okay.
on the streets of Toronto, and I think we're just trying to normalize it as an act of beauty.
Well, maybe. I mean, it might be regardless of the motivation. I love how this thing goes into like chimpanzee influencers and it talks about how like, the more dominant people are dominant chimps. They create these trends, and then other people follow them. Like, it's even got a subheadline. They spend a lot of time looking at each other's butts. So it's kind of not surprising, maybe, that they were innovating this way to sort of decorate their butts. This is CBC. We paid for this article. And for once, this is something that I found to be incredibly entertaining. Now, it sucks that it's ironically entertaining, but this is great. This is great. I loved it. Yeah.
Real investigative journalism.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They really dug deep on that one. So yeah, I'm not gonna, unlike the chimpanzees, I'm not gonna throw shit at them over that.
Wow, the internet had fun with this one yesterday. I don't think
did it
anything
ever.
has ever blown up so much.
Well, I mean, so Coldplay Kiss Cam zeroes in on mortified tech CEO Andy Byron and alleged HR chief mistress Kristen Cabot. So, I mean, it's embarrassing enough that everybody knows you went to a Coldplay concert, but apparently you went with the head of HR that you're presumably in a relationship, because they went up on the Jumbotron and then on the Kiss Cam on the Jumbotron, and then kind of freaked out and tried to hide and get away from it and everything like that. And so everybody's like, well, who the fuck are these people? Turns out the dude's a billionaire CEO and married, and not to the woman he's there at the concert with. And so, yeah, the fallout, his wife has already changed her name on all of her social media. And I can't really see the head of HR sticking around when you kind of get busted for something like this. But the memes. Oh, the memes.
Nonstop memes. I don't think I've ever seen so many memes on one single issue. Did you see? So I saw a fake apology from him, just saying, I apologize to my company, my wife, and my kids. Yes, I am a Coldplay fan.
I tried to hide my actions, but the truth has finally been revealed. I am a Coldplay fan, and not just the first two albums. I also like the recent stuff. I'm going to take some time to contemplate my future. Please respect our family's privacy at this time.
Did you see his real apology, though? Do you know what he said?
Well, I did see it, and I don't have it here, but if I could sum it up, more or less, it was that you guys were jerks for getting us caught.
Yep. He's like, I'm gonna own up to what I did, but as a culture, what you guys need to reflect on is this was a private moment, and like, shame on you for sharing about this.
Yeah.
Like, no.
I feel like maybe he got Justin Trudeau to write it for him. Coldplay hasn't made a single in years. Last night they made 2. Okay. Feds are spending $330,000 or $330,000 on artificial ice rink outside Governor General's residence, Rideau Hall. $330,000 for an ice rink.
I thought we had like people living in tents, and we needed like lunches for kids at school and clean drinking water for reserves, but we're going to make a hockey rink for him.
We're going to do artificial ice. We're going to pay $330,000 for artificial ice in one of the coldest countries on the planet.
And probably $1 million every year in consultants and ice management. And it's going to be made with Evian water from Mark Carney, probably.
Oh, yeah. Like, I can't skate on this peasant ice.
This is tap water.
Guys, how many times have I told you I don't want any fluoride in my ice rink? Those are for the retards, not for us. So, yeah. Well, like, I mean, imagine going to like the First Nations. You know, you read about the the First Nations drinking water. But the First Nations are like, hey, we need some clean drinking water. And then the government says, sorry, we froze it all.
Yeah. Maybe next
Elbows
year.
up. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this in your neck of the woods, but there's been a lot of bad drivers in Canada lately. And this is seen at Deerfoot Trail near Memorial Drive Northeast earlier after a van launched off a ramp and crashed into the car below. Dude jumped the overpass, like in speed, when there's the gap in the overpass, and they hit it and go over it. That's basically what this dude did, and he landed on another car that was on the freeway. Like, just imagine you're just driving along, a fucking car jumps and fucking lands on you. This happened in Calgary this week, and here's the aftermath of it. Just imagine the police report. Like, okay, sir, and what direction were you traveling when this accident took place?
Up.
Downwards. Downwards.
I want to know who's driving.
Well, it's interesting that you never hear about it. You never hear about it. And then Calgary Transit bus driving into oncoming traffic. That also happened this week.
Wow.
And then, I mean, it's, I don't know, make of it what you will, but people are kind of just making assumptions. People are making assumptions about what kind of person was driving this. And you know what? I get the fact that we're all worried about being politically correct, but I'm just going to go ahead and say this. This is something that needs to be said out loud.
Uh-huh.
Our insurance premiums started skyrocketing at the same time our immigration levels did, and I'm tired of pretending it didn't.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a really practical reason why. Like, have you ever driven a vehicle in a third world country? Like, there are no rules. It's just a free for all. You make up your own lane.
It's absolute fucking chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like sometimes, you know, been to Mexico and I'm like, I'm not driving. I spent a bunch of time in Southeast Asia and in the more off the beaten path places.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple times where I rented a scooter.
Yeah.
But that was it. Like, there's no Ho Chi Minh City driving a vehicle anywhere. That place is terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. We were just in Thailand and we got a little scooter with like a whole family, a TV, their dog, just like zipping past you.
I think that's pretty cool though. It's impressive.
Yeah.
It's impressive, right? Like there's one point where I was on this island in the Gulf of Thailand and I was staying in a resort and the beer at the resort was outrageously expensive for that area. It was like $1 a beer. I was like, this is crazy. But there was a town on that island. So I rented a scooter. I drove into that town and I came back laden down like one of those guys with just beer piled all the way up on this scooter. And the beer in town was like 25 cents a beer.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there was definitely, and that was even really expensive for that area just because it was on an island. Ozempic set to become more affordable and accessible in Canada, raising concerns of drug abuse. Apparently, the patent is going to go open up for Ozempic in Canada in the next little while. Mm-hmm. And whoever wrote this article, Camille Karamali, is worried that once it becomes cheaper and more accessible, people are just going to be abusing it.
Yeah.
I think that if there was one drug that blatant abuse of it in North America would be a good thing, it's probably Ozempic.
Yeah. Being, despite what the woke movement wants to tell people, being fat is bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's a tool. It shouldn't be the only tool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, being overweight is really dangerous too.
Yes, absolutely. But apparently it does have some side effects. And so, you know, people in the article talked about how some people said that they basically can't eat anything anymore or they'll throw it up and lots of stomach pain. There's specific instances. They didn't bother interviewing anybody who just tried it, used it, and never had any side effects.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting that people will go to like any extreme length to lose weight, except for going to the gym
And eating different. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like like there's no lengths they won't go to. They'll deal with like kidney issues and throwing up all the time. You can never eat anything again, or you're just gonna throw it up, or you could just hit the treadmill
Yeah.
for a while.
I
They're like,
know.
oh no, I'll take the never being able to eat anything, because that's how much I get it. Treadmills suck, but come on, guys. They're
No,
not
I'm
as
working with
serious
a
people.
trainer right now, and,
Yeah.
I just turned 41, and it's easy. People want, like,
Oh,
a
that's right.
magical
Happy
reason.
birthday. Happy birthday. We
Thank
talked about
you.
it before the show, but today, for everybody who doesn't know, is Carla's birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you. But, yeah, I was getting a little chunky, and I wanted a more interesting reason why. It's my hormones, it's toxins, it's blah, blah, blah. Turns out, I just needed to track my calories and eat less. It's, like, the most annoying answer.
Mhm.
But, like, that's what people need to do. You need to eat less calories and work out harder. Sorry.
Yep.
That's the secret.
And it's funny because it's kind of a magic bullet.
Yeah. Like, "Oh,
Like
shit, it does work."
yeah. Oh, that's so frustrating. Now, you may or may not know this because you're thousands of miles away, but Alberta is the only place in the world that's rat-free,
Hmm.
and it is celebrating its 75th anniversary of being rat-free. So here's a poster from the 40s, 1946, talking about how, there was this massive campaign to get rid of all the rats in Alberta, and it has been completely successful and has had 75 years without any rats in it, despite the fact that you can literally go on a tour of Rat's Nest Cave in Canmore, well, just outside of Canmore,
The rats
and
are coming.
and they had there was 600 rat reports in Alberta last year, of which 5% they said were legitimate. And then also, it's fairly well known that the landfills in Medicine Hat and Lethbridge are overrun with rats. But ignore all of that. Alberta is rat-free.
Was there, like, a crazy infestation? I mean, that's what these posters are showing.
Well, I don't know if there was an infestation or if they're just like, let's just, because I mean, like, think about it. If you were going to try and stop it now, it'd be pretty difficult. But I
Yeah.
guess they managed to back in the day, or at least mostly. And so they just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, if the Black Plague ever hits again, everyone's going to come here for, to get away from it.
I wonder if they sell rats in the pet stores in Alberta.
No, it's illegal to own a rat in Alberta. You can't have a rat
Interesting.
as a pet. Because what if it gets out? I mean,
I
that's
had a mouse in my
yeah.
office yesterday, and that
Okay.
little bugger wasn't even scared. I was talking to a client, he ran across, and then he just, like, sat right in front of me and just looked at me.
Oh, like, I
That's
dare you to do
ballsy.
something.
Yeah.
There's some big balls on that one. What are you doing in my house, human?
Yeah.
Okay, now we covered this last week. But the guy who got his ass absolutely handed to him by Tarnasky on the golf course, I got to give him hats off for this. He did an apology. And so I thought, you know what? If we spent 20 minutes mocking this guy last week, we should be honest about the fact that he apologized and did a pretty good job of it.
It's around the golf. I got it all in.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Yep, that's me, guys. The guy that got dropped like a bucket of balls in a pond. Not my finest moment, I know. Looks real bad. Played 36 holes of golf. We drank way too much, and my mouth ran faster than my brain. All jokes aside, guys, I'd like to apologize to all the folks on the course, anyone caught up in it, and anyone who had to deal with me that day. I lost my cool, and I've learned from it. Just one of those days where you should have kept the cart on the path, you know. Stay hydrated, keep your stick on the ice, maybe stick.
Court.
That's
there you
good
go.
news. That's
Yeah.
that's a good thing to do.
Yep. Classy
Mhm.
ownership of a mistake. I got nothing but time for that. Now this is, I was telling you that we were going to throw a wrench into it, and I was going to surprise you with something. Mortal Kombat 2 is coming to theaters, I think this December, and they just released the first trailer for it. And I think we could probably get away with playing it because it's not the movie. We're playing the trailer. But it's probably the best movie trailer I've ever seen.
From New Line Cinema, the studio that brought you Cool Hand Cage, Hard to Cage, and Rebel Without a Cage.
Yes, that is Carl Urban.
Comes Uncaged Fury, starring Johnny Cage.
It's showtime.
They pissed him off. They fucked with his shades. They should have brought more guys.
You should have brought more guys.
Uncaged Fury. Coming to a theater near you this October.
That is not a real movie.
No, it's a movie trailer because, okay, so Mortal Kombat, one of the characters is Johnny Cage, the basically kind of a Jean-Claude Van Damme type guy. And so this apparently is movie trailer for one of his movies within the movie. So kind of like the start of Tropic Thunder. And I actually really want to watch this movie now.
This is a real movie. It's coming out.
Mortal Kombat 2 is a real movie, but this is the trailer within the trailer. Or this is the movie within the it's a trailer for the movie within the movie.
Oh, okay. I understand.
So Carl Urban's in this. Dread, one of the greatest movies ever. And Lord of the Rings, Boys, the list goes on and on. Almost Human, which tragically got canceled after one season. I really like that show. And so he's playing Johnny Cage, who in the movie is an actor / martial artist. And so this is presumably a trailer for one of the movies that Johnny Cage did in the movie Hollywood. So yeah, but best movie trailer I've ever seen.
Those air splits are really impressive.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. It looks like the most classic 80s thing ever. And so here, now we got that was pretty happy news, but this is the actual happy news. Christmas Tree Farm finds man's missing ring after 15 years. So this guy lost his ring at a Christmas tree farm, and the old couple who ran it, they kept like a lost and found type bulletin board for anybody who lost anything and was looking for stuff across like the whole history of the place. And then when it got sold, I don't know, I think it was like 5 years ago, roughly, or something. 2018, it got sold, and the new owners kept it. And so then when they found this ring, they went and checked the board, and oh yes, 15 years ago, this guy had lost his ring. And so they were able to just call him up and be like, hey, we found this ring. And
wow.
Yeah. What took you so long?
15 years. That's great. If you leave anything at my house, you're never getting it back. I'm not going to call you. We live on an island. That's impressive that they hung on to this thing for 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that was pretty cool. I thought that was, there's always those people who just never throw anything out, but sometimes it works out well. Now we've got a few community notes. So
I feel like that's what Canadian news used to be like. Just happy, like new panda born at the zoo, man finds wedding ring.
Well, I mean, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. Back to you, John. Right? I mean, you really don't see that kind of stuff anymore.
No.
Now, Sean had sent me this. We didn't talk about it last week, But the UCP Day at the Races, August 16th. And so it is, details at angelapitt.ca. It's for Airdrie East. It's at the Century Downs Racetrack and Casino. And Danielle Smith herself is going to be there as well. The, I got to find it. The Stettler County Fair and Rodeo, July 30th to August 3rd. It's like almost a week-long fair and rodeo, including like draft horse pulls, all kinds of stuff. And then if anybody has any other, I didn't see anybody with anything in the comments, but there's a couple community events for you.
Oh, I have something.
Yeah.
4 p.m. my dock, we're going to be playing cornhole today and having some beers. So
nice.
If you are floating around on Lake of the Woods, cornhole time.
All right. Well, I probably can't make it, but I appreciate the invite. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Carla. This is wonderful.
Me.
You're the first female co-host we've had.
Woo. Awesome.
Yes. So another milestone for the mashup.
And just wishing Sean good luck in prison. I can
Yes.
just take over until you're back. Don't worry. We got you.
Well, we got somebody lined up for next week that's going to be pretty exciting. I think we're already we've already found some stuff that we're going to yell at each other about. All right. Well, thanks very much. And everybody tuning in, thank you as well. Have a great night.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, shoot. I don't even know how to. I'm clicking it. I don't know. Whatever. I guess we don't have an outro. Or maybe we just